Morning and welcome to No Second Season, and welcome to episode 2 of my time in Thredbo. Today is Wednesday the 28th of December and it's an active rest day for me. I'm actually standing at the little alpine bobsled area, a nice little run if you fancy it. Not my bag, but the kids are enjoying it. Now today I'm going to go on the Thredbo Landslide Memorial Walk. At 20 to midnight on the 30th of July 1997, Thredbo suffered a catastrophe, a major landslide which took 18 lives, and there was one survivor pulled from the ruins. So today I'm going on a memorial walk and looking at some of the key points of that tragedy. Over the years it's grown into one of Australia's premier ski resorts, and in the summer mountain bike resorts. It's absolutely rammed today. Walk along the path past the Merritt's Nature Track start and continue on. As this trail comes to a metal grid here, there are 2 posts, and if you stand between those and look straight across at the village, you can see a piece of land that does not have any buildings on it, and that here is where the landslide occurred. Roughly here was the Carinya Lodge, and that got dragged down the hill into the EBIII Lodge. 1 person lost their lives in the Carinya, 17 in the EBIII. 40 metres along, turn right here, and then turn right over the bridge. You need to cross the road to get up these steps. Rush across now. So it's up these steps and turn left. See a lot of the retaining walls and works that have gone on to shore up this mountainside. Steep walk up here. We've climbed quite a way so far. Shows how steep it is. We were right down there before. This is the Memorial Gardens. Reading up on this tragedy, it appears this piece of land was the site of an ancient landslide. Obviously when they built these towns many years ago, they didn't have the knowledge that we have now. They wouldn't have known all these geological facts, so they built where they thought it was okay. Alas not. But can you imagine one of these huge lodges come crashing down this hill into another lodge and destroying both of them? Unfortunately, this could have been avoided. It seems not only was it unstable land, a water main had burst higher up and had waterlogged the area. It just loosened up the ground and it just fell down the mountainside, taking the Carinya Lodge with it, and the Carinya Lodge crashing into the EBIII Lodge and destroying that, with 17 members of staff at the ski lodge with it. So it's very sad indeed, and it's hard to imagine. Somewhere around this point would have been the lower foundations of the Bimbadine Lodge that was completely flattened by the Carinya Lodge, and I presume the debris would have ended up way down there. Over 25 years ago now, but something that needs to be remembered, because in modern times we make magnificent buildings and roadways and bridges. They all need maintaining, and I believe that now the Thredbo village has inclinometers, so any movement is recorded, and mountains, by the nature of gravity, are always going downwards. The area has been planted with many native trees and shrubs. Some of them have grown well. There's a beautiful spot under this tree in the shade to contemplate the horrors that befell those people, those poor people, on that night, near midnight, on the 30th of July 1997. The site was so steep and precarious and waterlogged that the emergency services, and there were hundreds of personnel here in the rescue operation, and they had to keep abandoning the site because the land would start shifting. The water was still running down, and the temperatures were down to something like -10, I believe. 27-year-old Stuart Diver, a ski instructor. Sadly, he was trapped with his wife, who unfortunately didn't make it because of the water pouring onto them. He could keep his head out of the water, so very sadly he had to hear his wife drown. Stuart was found. It still took around another 11 hours for him to be freed, and he come out pretty much physically unscathed, but lying there for 3 days nearly, holding his dead wife's hand, and something that's lived with him forever. I believe all the other people that lost their lives, as well as Stuart's wife, were all workers getting ready for the coming ski season. So very sad. Exit the Memorial Gardens, and now we're heading for Site 4 of the Memorial Tour. So we're continuing on down Bobuck Lane. At this junction of Banjo Drive and Diggins Terrace, you want to take these stairs up towards Winterhouse Lodge. It looks like you're going into a private chalet, but apparently this is correct. And then you turn up here as though you're going into the lodge. We'll go around the left-hand side of the building. There are no signposts. You can see all the remedial works that have gone on, shoring up this part of the mountain. And it's up these steps we're going. So the steps take you up to Alpine Way, the main sort of bypass of Thredbo. Massive retaining walls have been built. Now we're on the Alpine Way, we're turning left, and here we have the site from the top. The Carinya Lodge would be somewhere here. 2,000 cubic meters of liquefied rock and mud slid down this mountainside, 250 meters in a matter of seconds, tearing the Carinya Lodge off its foundations, pushed across the road, down the next embankment, flattening the Bimberdine Lodge, where all the ski workers were just going to bed just before midnight on that fateful day. All we can hope is the people that perished knew nothing about it. Stuart Diver went through a terrible ordeal, holding his dead wife's hand for over 60 hours while he lay there in freezing cold water, in just his underwear, terrified, couldn't move, and luckily a rescuer called out, "Can anyone hear me?" And he answered. How fortunate. And that is a sad story of the Thredbo landslide disaster. So you make your way back down to the road via the steps by Winter House, straight across, you make your way down to the river, over this bridge, and here we have the Thredbo Memorial Community Centre. And this was built from a mixture of funds from the public, from locals and from government after the tragedy. Just over there, a modern church. And a memorial stone to those that were lost in the tragedy. Di Ainsworth, John Cameron, Barry Decker, Sally Diver, Diane Hoffman, Verna Jecklin, Oscar Loon, Andrew MacArthur, Steve Moss, Wendy O'Donoghue, Mary Phillips, Aino Senbruns, Mike Sodegren, Mim Sodegren, Stephen Urasevich, Cole Warren, David Watson and Tony Weaver, with Sally Diver being the wife of the only survivor, Stuart Diver. So that concludes my memorial walk on this Wednesday, the 28th of December 2022, remembering near midnight on the 30th of July 1997. So from me, goodbye for now. I'll leave a link in the description below to a self-guided walk brochure in case you're coming to Thredbo and you would like to do it for yourselves.